Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2. IG facing off against LGD. I am LD, and joining me is GoDz, who will be here to yell at me when I make all sorts of silly mistakes. Not that I've ever made any in my life. You're watching the G-1 League group stages, day 3 action for the qualifiers, and this has to be the premier, the most looked forward to match of the entire group stages. There are lots of other great teams in this tournament. There are lots of other teams that could make a strong case and maybe even take the event, but IG have to be the prohibitive favorites coming into this. And LGD, I'd say they were number 2, although they just got manhandled in game 1. GoDz, you weren't able to join me for game 1, but you are here now, and it's LGD going for the Yao Invoker as a first pick.
I mean, after game one, how game one goes, it's kind of fall back to what your comfort zone is. LGD, a team who don't take many risks, don't mix it up as much, which is partly why I feel IG do have a slight edge against them. But Yao Invoker, not something to be messed with. So we'll see how IG react to this. But they've got 2 picks coming their way, and Bounty Hunter right off the bat. YYF going to get right back onto it, I believe.
And wow, first picking it, in fact. That's just absolutely... It's really... I thought this would be a top pick, and I mean, maybe not a ban because there's just so few ban slots, but this was a hero when we did our patch analysis. I think I even mentioned it at some point. It was too long, and it was kind of... We bounced all over the place, never had a chance to edit it, and there were other people who would analyze the patch, so we never released it, but Bounty Hunter fits this version perfectly. I mean, he's already a great offlane hero. He's very item independent. He only needs to hit 6, but he has a relatively easy time getting there because of Janata to sort of steal those jungle creeps when the lane's getting pulled, and just being able to check runes safely because of that invisibility. And once he gets 6 track gold with the increased gold and experience you get for hero kills with multiple heroes involved, it's just such a strong hero in this version, and it could not be in better hands than YYF, so I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. With this second pick here, they may want to start just getting some solid lanes here and try finding a way of sort of predict what LGD want to get with that second, third pick. We're going to see a Batrider. LGD had that in game number 1. This hero has become incredibly popular, and with good reason, LD.
Batrider, yeah, it's a hero that LGD ran last game, and they had it as their offlane hero, but they chose to just throw him into the jungle. I'm curious what are IG going to do with it. Will it be the solo mid? I don't actually know who's going to play this Batrider. Have you seen them run it in this version?
I haven't seen IG run it. I imagine they may be looking at a solo mid Batrider with the Bounty Hunter offlane, but Ferrari 430 Batrider, I guess this would be a first for me seeing that. Not quite what I'd expect here. The alternative is, like you say, running maybe a jungle Batrider, something a bit different. But for now, it's LGD going with what they love. It's the Chaos Knight with a Leshrac, the strong dual lane, potentially put a third hero, round it off with a strong tri-lane, maybe get a jungle hero in there. This is just solid, strong laning coming up LGD. They're playing it very safe with this draft, though, I feel.
This was a hero that we saw IG ban as well, I believe. I think it was IG. It was their final ban. They banned out a lot of really strong counter-ganking heroes. We saw yesterday LGD ran that solo mid Tidehunter on DD, and that's a hero that can punish the tower diving quite heavily and very difficult to deal with as a Night Stalker, too, in a 1v1 matchup in mid lane, just because of that constant anchor smash spam. So this is a hero that Chaos Knight's sort of a similar role. You dive the tower's Bounty Hunter, you dive it as a hero like Night Stalker, and the Chaos Bolt, if you get a longer duration stun, Reality Rift to pull you back into tower range, it can easily go the other way, so I like this pick, and it's also just very strong lanes to start off for LGD. IG doesn't care. They're going to amp up the aggression this game, GoDz. Not only the Bounty Hunter Night Stalker combo, but then a Batrider, sort of the icing on this IG cake. Ay.
Yeah, this is all about aggression. If they really want, they don't even have to pick up some kind of carry or semi-carry for Zhou. Maybe they pick up a Luna or something again. If they do that, it means we're seeing sort of a jungle or at least a pulling Batrider, maybe in the safe lane. If they really want, though, I feel this could just be their 3 core heroes. Get some aggressive supports, maybe get Chuan onto one of his sort of jungle heroes like the Chen or the Enchantress and get really aggressive. They can punish, even the CK Leshrac, a strong dual lane, but against heroes with the potential to just dive them, kite them around. This is looking like IG just proving that they are, in fact, one of the most aggressive teams in the world, especially in China. They are. This is really just defines them. It's all about aggression, getting those early kills, and then following up with towers. It's never really about the group up and push. They get their carry farmed. They've got one of the best carries, but they don't really use him in that way.
Right. And, we saw at the International, sometimes they would pick the hard carry. Once in a while, we saw the Lone Druid. We saw the Morphling for Zhou. So it's not that they never do it. They're really the most complete team in Chinese Dota. They can run 4 Protect 1 if they want to, and execute it damn near as well as teams like DK and LGD. That's just not how they like to play. They like to be aggressive and really set the pace. So what are we thinking for the rest of this draft? LGD has much stronger lanes this time because of the CK.
Yeah, it is much stronger lanes here. We'll have to see. I think they want to not. LGD rarely run jungle heroes. I think actually they're one of the few teams who never really pick Chen or Enchantress. They've run Enigma once or twice, but they don't really pick jungle heroes. They'll go for the strong dual lanes or run a tri lane, use one of their supports as sort of a pulling farming hero sort of in the jungle, but never really the Chen or the Enchantress. And that's something which IG probably know, and they're going to have to make sure that they do lane well enough that they don't find themselves up against a CK Leshrac with another hero in a tri lane, because that's not going to go too well for them. I think more likely we'll see IG throw the bounty hunter in the off lane, just trying to survive, get as much XP farm, get the level 6, get the track, you get the track gold rolling, and then it becomes a lot easier to get the gold going for your team and to catch up with the bounty hunter. But with the other lane, IG are going to look to dominate kills in the mid lane as well as maybe their safe lane.
I'm wondering what LGD are thinking. I mean, like you said, it's probably going to be a more defensive sort of draft for them the rest of the way. And I don't really. They could go aggressive though if they want to run the Cast Knight Leshrac and maybe even the dual lane mid like you've talked about is an option, or even maybe a tri lane. Now it's a tough lane to be aggressive against though, because if you run that tri lane, that means the bounty hunter is going to hit 6 quickly. The Night Stalker's probably not going to be shut down unless you smoke towards mid, assuming he's there, which we'll see. Maybe he's the safe lane farmer, and then the tri lane can completely get flipped on its head. So it probably won't be a tri lane. But they do have good heroes if they want to start off aggressively. Maybe we'll see them even smoke up, go for an early first blood, or something a little bit different. I feel like IG, this is 2 games in a row now. I don't know if you caught the very beginning of that game, but it was a 4-hero first blood gank attempt on mid. They had the Vengeful Spirit there, and they had the Bounty Hunter.
Wow.
Right off the bat, we saw it in the previous series too. Last time it worked, and this time not. It wasn't it didn't end up working, but it's just they love to get those kills early. So maybe LGD will give them a dose of their own medicine.
Yeah, LGD pick up Beastmaster here, so potentially a strong offliner. And look at this, IG go with the Sven. Have not seen him in Dota 2 by a Chinese team in a long time. A couple of European teams, Empire have been using him on occasion, but probably a support Sven. But with some recent buffs, he does have some semi-carry potential. LGD immediately pick up Lion, and that's going to be their last support hero. But wow, IG, this is looking like a scary amount of aggression. They run a 4 melee lineup in their first game against MUFC. I mean, it doesn't seem to bother them how their lanes are slightly weaker because they're mid to late game team fight and just their overall control of the game with these strong mid game heroes. Once they get their levels, the early game levels 1 to level 5, where they're not going to do too well in the lane, they are melee up against some ranged harasses, isn't too good. But once they get beyond that point, it looks good for them. For LGD, they need to get the Invoker levels, need to get that Tornado EMP up to a decent level where heroes like Sven, Night Stalker, Bounty Hunter, they've got pretty low mana pools. If you can hit them with the EMP, they really take a lot of damage.
Yeah, the EMP Tornado can really blunt the aggression. We've seen Yao go for EMP Tornado every game. I haven't seen him go for Exhort in a long time, so it's a Chuan Sven, it is a support Sven, and maybe the makings of that tri-lane that we're thinking about, so interesting. Maybe it'll even be as an offensive tri-lane, they can go head-to-head with LGD in a 3v3. I mean, you've got a hero in Lion who's not a strong tri-lane hero. He really needs to level up his stuns to be effective. Sure, you have CK, you have Leshrac, which are amazing in a tri-lane, but that Lion can be the weak link, so I think it's an option for them if they do want to go head-to-head.
Yeah, it is, and I mean both teams have the potential for the offensive try. I think LGD more likely to go safe lane with the Lion, try use him to get some pulls, get some levels there, and IG going offensive trial, and they're not doing it. It looks like YYF is headed towards the bottom lane for IG. So introducing those guys, the kings of the Dota and Dota 2 world at the moment, who just seem to be absolutely unbeatable, taking their last 2 grand finals in the Ace Dota Championship, the TI2, the International 2 Grand Finals winners, and they are here in the G1 League looking to prove that they are still the best team in the world. YYF on the Bounty Hunter going to the bottom lane. Ferrari with a bottle first Night Stalker at mid lane. Faith is playing a jungle Batright. He's already cutting down some trees. Zhou, the carry Sven. He's got to be playing that carry Sven. And Chuan on the Lina. This is very, very exciting picks, draft, and just new metagame coming out of IG.
I love it. I gotta say, I like what LGD's done. They picked a lot of their stable heroes, but they go with something a little bit different in the Lion that we haven't seen too much of from them, and that is interesting to me for me to see how it's going to all shake out. Yao on that middle lane, solo Invoker as expected. DDC playing the Lion. Looks like he did a little bit of warding towards the top lane. Both teams, these wards, just sort of spying on each other from across the ravine, but nothing too aggressive yet. Sylar handling the Chaos Knight. Grouping up with Xiao 8 here as they look to check the rune. Do they have sentry wards? They have a dust off the bat. Often you see the sentry wards, you don't see the dust. This just, to them, they have to shut down YYF, so they're not going to ban his hero, but they're going to make damn sure he doesn't get any farm. And finally, it's DD handling that Beastmaster in the off lane.
Yeah, dust's slightly more reliable because you can't get out of range of the dust itself. I mean, sentry wards, you put him down, he can avoid them, he can see when you plant them, but the dust means if he goes in, if he gets caught by that and CK's in range for a stun or there's an impale coming out, he could potentially go down. And Lion has sentry wards on top of it. Wow, so early sentry ward as well as an observer ward being put in the lane, very far down in the lane, and it looks like YYF realizes there is not a chance in hell he can get any XP, at least not at the moment.
This is an insane investment this early. Already preemptively dropping a lane ward, and very far back too, just to make sure that YYF can't do anything this game. Honestly, YYF's almost already done his job just by existing in this game. I mean, obviously you want to get the track kills later on, but really forcing these supports to pay a lot more attention than they'd like to the bottom lane. And the trade-offs are there. They do have a jungle bat rider, so they have that third source of income to work for them. Let's talk a little bit about our other lanes. It's not a dual lane mid to try and shut down Ferrari, like something we thought maybe they could have done, but they opt not to. It's Yao laning against him. And this is a lane I feel both heroes are going to farm, but neither one is really going to get shut down.
Yeah, especially with the Quaz Wex build at the moment, he's not going to be able to completely outlast him. He's trying to harass Ferrari back as far as possible. Early Bottle Crow, though, just means that basically we can see Ferrari using his nuke to farm creeps whenever possible. He doesn't have to worry too much about them. Look at this, YYF being so smart at the bottom lane. He's pulled the creep wave from between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers at bottom. He's managed to get it back to his tower, and this is how he's going to get XP. Xiao Wei there alone could not stop and wasn't able to prevent that. And YYF finds himself a full creep wave. He'll get nearly level 2 out of this, and as a result, I mean, they're trying their best to shut him down, but YYF just finds an answer every single time.
I want YYF to start doing my taxes because I'm pretty sure that the government would be giving me like a full refund or even just paying me for existing. This guy is wily as they come. I love it. It's really smart play. DD up top has managed to hit level 2. Chuan is here harassing him back. And they're doing that standard thing we see on the Dire from all the Chinese teams. In this case, it's the Bat Rider jungling, but just doing tons of pulling, get as much experience as possible. Towards middle lane comes YYF. This is something else we see. If you really get shut down as Bounty Hunter, just go rotate towards another lane. Even if you don't get the kill, just harass the hero back, use your time effectively, so that Ferrari can get some more farm, and they might even be able to get a kill if they're really careful. They don't have track, he drops low, but they force out the Ghost Walk, which is a pretty significant victory in itself. Tons of damage onto him, putting that Invoke on cooldown, and then the 250 mana, or 220 mana, excuse me, total required to invoke that.
Yeah, using Ghost Walk, even if it saves your life, is always a big cost in lane. It's just, I mean, that's 2 less cold snaps he has to harass Ferrari out of lane. Even though Ferrari does have that bottle crowing that he's using at the moment to constantly heal himself up, it's still, it's going to give Invoker a hard time at this mid lane now. And even without Bounty, and that's without Bounty Hunter coming back. Bounty Hunter is still lurking around. He's level 2 as well. He'll have that Janata slow on that first hit, but it looks like Yao has a pretty good idea of what he's up to and where he is. Beastmaster actually going to come in and probably spot him out in just a second.
I'm a little surprised that YYF didn't go for more pulls on the bottom lane after that attempt on mid. You'd think maybe he'd just go back. And for the moment, I guess he's trying to shut down the Beastmaster from stacking these Ancients, or maybe just catch him on low HP and pick him off. That's not going to happen for the moment because SC is actually farming the small camp. No, he's pulling the small camp. Something we saw Chuan doing last game for IG. Unfortunately, his timing not quite as good as Chuan, not able to get the pull off fully. Middle lane, though, YYF lurking, waiting for Yao. Do they have Dust this time? They don't, so it's all about the harassment. Not going to necessarily force out a Ghost Walk. In fact, it's not going to work, so... The Bounty Hunter, YYF, I gotta say, it was a nice trick he did pulling that bottom lane, but he has been shut down a bit this game. He's only level 2, and he doesn't really have the comeback mechanic as far as farming goes, the way the Beastmaster does, in terms of stacking the Ancients. So far, so good, I would say, for dealing with YYF.
Yeah, they've kept him out of lane. I mean, he has poked and prodded at the Invoker, given Ferrari a slightly better start here, bought him some space here. The problem is that the entire time Faith has been in the jungle, he's been stacking a lot, he's been getting farm XP, and he can be coming out soon. That's really going to be the answer from IG in the form of the Bat Rider as well as the Night Stalker. They can get aggressive once it hits nighttime. And LGD with this trail at bottom, they haven't been leveling as fast as they'd like. Sure, they've been using a lot of pools. In fact, Lion, already level 3, is actually in a pretty good position here. I'd say both teams have sort of got the start that they would envisioned here. LGD would have liked Invoker to be doing slightly better against this Night Stalker. Maybe they're pretty much almost even on terms of last hits, but it is LGD with the sort of level and farm dependent supports who are actually getting some using all these pulls.
Yeah, dead even in terms of gold and in terms of experience. Just absolutely negligible. Now that can all change in a hurry once Bounty Hunter does find his way to 6, and he's actually rotated to top. In fact, walked all the way to top, gonna get his boots. They just really want to find this first blood, but DD is just tucked away behind the tower, really not trying to be aggressive. I'm not sure they're gonna find this kill.
That's really spot on. I definitely agree. IG, it's always they get that first blood and then they go from there. They're going to try diving on top though. Warcry to set things up. One stun. Lena maybe not going to get there in time for the next one. Wow, that Sven stun lasts a damn long time. One didn't even try time the light strike array. He thought he was going to miss, but there we go. They get another stun and YYF, Janata, there's your first blood. They commit a lot for it. The Warcry giving them the movement speed they needed, and YYF gets out of there on low HP, but he's got a salve, and IG, they strike first as they usually do.
Tries and tries again, and finally is successful. Hopefully the in-game is fixed for me now, guys. I got the overlays right, and then the in-game starts acting up. Something we've talked about with Valve. We'll see middle lane, though, the aggression from YYF and from Ferrari. Again, the third time they've gone on to him and haven't had a dust or any sort of detection. I think the fourth we're going to see it, but Ferrari is trapped. He's caught out by DDC. 4-second stun, and the Impale to bring him down. And that's going to give Lion level 4. Sylar hitting 5 already. So how are we looking as we go towards the mid game? It's a farming Sven, and this is a carry that got a lot of buffs for his carry potential. Not really improved as a support, but do you think he can stack up to a hero like Chaos Knight with Invoker, Beastmaster providing him that potentially that alacrity, and of course the Inner Beast? Do you think Sven can carry this one if it goes late and it's pretty even?
On paper, he's the perfect counter for a Chaos Knight with all those illusions. AoE stun, you've got cleave, you've got a heap of armor coming from Warcry. I mean, all his skills match up well against Chaos Knight, even when Chaos Knight has sort of 4 illusions on you. I mean, you can get a BKB to help deal with the stun. I don't know if that it works out as well as planned. You've got an Invoker, you've got a lot of disables. Every LGD hero is packing a lot of disable, a lot of lockdown. It's definitely a BKB game for Zhou, but it's going to be hard. They can kite him around a bit. And
huge
I also really
dive.
like what Sylar's done as wow again, DD is just not having a fun time at top lane, and this is what we're going to see Ferrari doing. He has to try to set up those kills. I mean, before it was mid lane where Sylar rotates in. He had free farm lane, but he recognized the threat that is Ferrari once it hits nighttime, so he got that early kill. But Ferrari still manages to find some openings, and that's at top lane for now.
For the moment, they have been successful finding these kills. Again, the Beastmaster's still hitting level 4. He's still getting some farm, and he is stacking the Ancients. He did it once so far. And he can catch up, and it's not a hero that really needs an amazing start. Neither is the Bounty Hunter. Middle lane, yeah, with his 4th Ghostwalk of the game, and IG, for me, this is shocking. Normally, if you Ghostwalk once against them, the next time they come with Dust and Sentries, Courier might get sniped. This would be a huge pickup for Faith, and he's got the Flying Vision. No running, no hiding. Courier down. Bat Rider doing it, and now onto the top lane where Zoe is trying to retreat away from Sylar. TP'd in for this and unable to find the kill. That Courier pickoff, absolutely massive this early. Did not have anything on it, it was on the way back, but still, picking off a Courier in 8 minutes, that is a lot of gold.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at almost tower gold coming out of that, so with that, yeah, IG, that's a big pickup for them. They're going to get their next level of items up here. We're going to see, it looks like a fast earn, maybe even a drum with this for the Sven, going for some very movement speed heavy build. He hasn't even gone stats. He's got 2 points in Warcry, very fast early on. They're looking, this to me just screams aggressive diving, because leveling it up, it doesn't give you additional movement speed, but it's the cooldown that goes from 36 seconds to 18 at level 4. So he's going to be looking to spam that as much as possible for tower dives.
And the armor bonus goes up dramatically, which is perfect for tower diving. Also blunts the damage that the Chaos Knight can do, so yeah, it's a very aggressive build now, and that's one of the benefits of a hero like Sven is he's very similar to Chaos Knight. He doesn't need huge items. You don't need a Mansa style right away to do damage. You can get away with the drums, with a pair of power treads, and even something like an armlet is going to be a lot cheaper than those traditional agility carry items or Radiance on a lone druid. And I think it's a strong build. Even heading towards the late game, it'll have some utility. But I mean, going back for the Urn, that really screams aggression. That combination, I like it. It fits what IG wants to do, but the downside is they haven't had the kind of openings they got in Game 1. And Bounty Hunter getting close to 6, that might start to give them some opportunities.
And I feel Invoker's done well enough at this mid lane. He's already level 8. We're pretty early games. He's actually out-leveling the Night Stalk. And that Tornado MP is going to be a pest. They're actually going to go in on Ferrari.
What a
Splitter
dodge.
doesn't manage to land. They have got some axes as well. Cold Snap. Ferrari should be going down here. In comes Chuan. Big AoE damage out from him, and this is being turned around. Sure, they got Ferrari, but they're going to take heavy losses potentially. Faith going to go down to one more right click, but it just doesn't come. IG pick up 3 on the back of the rotation from Chuan and Faith. What a big clash and what a big win for IG there.
The boar is just chasing Faith all around the world, and so too is this Chaos Knight. Sylar, how often do we see Chaos Knight not able to catch heroes? This has happened twice now. First on the top lane trying to catch the Sven, and now trying to catch the Batrider, both times unsuccessful. That's the one hero for LGD that just hasn't really gotten into the game too much. Sylar, he's farming reasonably well, but he's not sitting in the lane and just farming like the Sven is, like Zoe is, and he's not getting the kills either. Something you don't see a whole lot of, really. Just IG really outplaying them in that gank mid, though. That was a beautiful gank, and now bottom lane, it's YY up, Roar to start. DDC already level 5, and that is an easy kill. YYF continues to struggle in this game, and hell, you can't really blame him when he requires this much attention. But he is not having the kind of start we saw last game.
Yeah, not by any means. He is a hero that can catch up. He's level 6 as well, so at this point he maybe doesn't even decide to go back. He wants to meet up with his team, but his team there is back at his bottom lane. He wants to get back here as soon as possible. Ferrari's picked up 1. Can he pick up the line as well? Here come the TPs. It's Chaos Knight. It's Sylar. He's going to be looking for some openings here. But those openings, they're not presenting themselves as Ferrari picks up a kill, backs off. He's got the earn up. They've got, the double earn, in fact. And this is, we saw IG do this the other day. I guess this is something they know they're getting kills. They're not grouping up as 5 to get these kills. So, Sven can get earn charges at top. Ferrari can get earn charges at bottom or mid, wherever he is. So, in some ways, they can make use of having to earn.
Zoe ran into that TP. He saw the color. He knew it was DDC, and he wanted a kill there. If he gets the Stormbolt off, I think that is a kill. But instead, this might cost him his life. The Boker coming in. The Tornado could come from long range. Not going to attempt it. So 4 heroes rotate top, and still not getting kills on Zoe. Zoe is just by being in this lane and pushing it, wasting a lot of LGD's time. They're really concerned about shutting him down, but just not able to do so. And we're seeing some of the pushing power of Sven. Look how much damage the tier 2 took.
Yeah, the tier 2. He takes it down to below half HP, gets out of there, and like you say, he just runs right into the line TP, just so smart. Sure, there's a TP coming in from Invoker, maybe a long-range Tornado can hit him, but the second TP takes so much longer, he wasn't going to go down, and now it's mid-lane. Yao could be in a bit of trouble here. Silo looking for the counter gate. They've gone in on Ferrari. It's just hit daytime as well. That's not what Ferrari wants to see. He is going to see Lina coming in, taking out Sylar. Zhao 8 getting lassoed. And IG, the aggressive lineup, just tearing LGD to pieces somehow.
Oh no, DDC, don't go in! Don't go in! And look how fast they run with the war cry, just instantly catching up. LGD just trickling in one by one to this fight, getting cornered, getting picked off. IG like a pack of piranhas. They smell blood in the water. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, 4 heroes dead, and this is when IG didn't have a dominating start. Multiple track kills picked up, and what do you know, YYF hitting level 7, Tornado only crashing through, only hitting the creeps. Now, they don't get a tower. That's the one thing LGD can be happy about, but that's really it. What impressive play from IG.
Absolutely. They've just picked these aggressive gank-heavy heroes, and this comes with the new patch change. They're being rewarded for getting kills, for having lots of heroes around the kills to get more gold, more XP, and IG are using that with their new style of picks, with their new style of play. LGD is sort of going with the same standard of picks that we saw them using at the International, and it just doesn't suit this version as much, especially against this aggression coming from IG. If this was the old patch, IG would not be getting rewarded as much, but here they are, getting a lot of farm, a lot of XP, and some big items coming up.
They smoke from the fountain. Is this an early Roshan attempt? Are they going to try to ninja this, or are they just barreling down mid to do battle with LGD? It looks like that will be the case. Right before this fight begins, needs to be pointed out, Chuan is 3-0-7, and his team is 10 kills. He's been involved in every single one. The clash begins. Who's going to start this off? It's the Batrider, and the Stormbolt catches 2. Yao assassinated. Now onto the Leshrac. 2 heroes dead, and the fight just has begun. Everyone should die here. At least a couple more heroes. Sylar getting caught out. Chain stun down. Batrider doing battle. Everybody basically running with the haste room between the Sven, having that war cry, and the drum charges being popped like candy. Meanwhile, the track as well. Too fast, too furious, and it's a team wipe for LGD. Unbelievable, and I think we're seeing something that I don't think anyone's really pioneered or appreciated until recently,
What am
until this
I
game.
watching?
It's the move speed that the Sven gives them and the tower diving he offers, especially when you combo with the bounty hunter.
I mean, level 4 Warcry already, this is just insane aggression. I mean, you see this kind of non-stop action in some of the European games, but never with sort of this level of coordination and perfect execution. The smoke up they came from around, and they just instantly popped 2-3 heroes, and LGD right off the bat did not stand a chance there. LGD, at the same time, LGD, they can't split up and try not be grouped up, try split the lanes, because then they just get picked off one by one. This is a lose-lose situation for them. IG are just getting so far ahead. There's a mech up on the Batrider, not even worrying about the Blink Dagger. They get so much movement speed and mobility. Sven's picked up a drum of endurance as well. This is just scary amount of mobility for an IG team, despite having no real blinks or mobility spells or items whatsoever.
Yeah, who needs it, really? I mean, when you have all these mobility spells and items, and we're seeing Drum of Endurance, sure, you can take away 6 damage from the item. Doesn't matter, the move speed just from the passive is nice, and then the aura, absolutely incredible. They've gone for one on the Bounty Hunter, they've gone for one on Sven. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me if they even get 3 or 4. Night Stalker hasn't gone for one. Probably Ferrari will rush the BKB, but you never know. LGD, meanwhile, trying to find these smoke ganks, but IG just never getting caught. It feels almost impossible to try and catch this team out of position. Here they go mid. Are they going to go in? No, not yet.
I think IG just keep grouping up, going for kills. If LGD are split around the map, they don't have to go for those kills as 5, then they can maybe go for those sort of split ganks. But if LGD group up, IG say, okay, we'll just take you on these big clashes, go flying in with the drum movement speed, the Warcry. There's just nothing they're afraid of at this point. And I mean, the Warcry you mentioned earlier, it also gives a heap of armor, 16 bonus armor for 8 seconds. That's CK doing hardly any damage. It's a lot of these right clicks coming from LGD just doing absolutely nothing. They're relying purely on the spell damage, which they don't really have a whole lot of when you look past the CK less track sort of nukes, and then you've got the Line Finger of Death. Maybe they can kill one, but beyond that, it's going to be hard. And look at IG. They're just not afraid of anything. They're diving tier 3s.
Look at Chuan. Chuan is pretty much zooming around at like 400 move speed. Just incredible. Everyone caught out, though. This might be bad. The mech used from the Batrider. Ferrari alive, but now he drops. The dust comes out. Chuan the next in line. LGD, a much better fight. Starting that off with Yao, but it's not enough, at least to stop Zoe. Another track kill picked up there. And it's looking overall, just LGD, even when they have a good fight, even when the EMP Tornado by Yao connects beautifully on almost everyone, it's still a 2-for-2 with track kills involved. And now they come right back in. Stormbolt, not going to be enough with the 4-staff to survive through this. That's another track kill for this team. And DD even might die. Once you lose a hero or two, it's really hard not to get team wiped with this much move speed.
It's really hard. Once you lose 1 or 2, once you have the numbers disadvantage, IG just clean you up, and LGD at this point, well, it's really tough because they're getting badly out-leveled more than anything. I mean, the gold difference is there, but it's really just the level difference. We're seeing all these dire heroes with the levels they need to get. Lina with the max out stun and nuke. Bounty Hunter with all the points he needs in his Shuriken. Just the one in track is fine. And I mean, Batrider, he's got the level 2 ulti, he's got a mech up. This is just not the same story with the LGD side. They've just got more level-dependent heroes without the levels they need.
Yeah, and what do they do now? The one thing they haven't done, which maybe we'll see soon, is this Roshan. And LGD, you can tell they're concerned about it, as the Beastmaster Hawk is just perched there. Not even really trying to scout the heroes, just want to make sure that IG can't sneak in. And they can do Roshan very quickly with this Sven, who already hits incredibly hard. EMP Tornado on 2. Is that enough to go in? It looks like it's not. LGD is just, they're really, at this point, if you initiate and you lose a fight, you're getting team wiped, you're giving up Roshan, and you might be giving up a tier 2 as well, so they really are choosing to play this safely, and I'm not sure they had the option to be aggressive.
For LGD, I agree. They can't be aggressive. They've got to just sort of wait for the counter initiations and get in the slightly better positions with that Tornado EMP. Tornado EMP is their only lifeline left.
What are we going to see right now? And sorry guys, just talking to gun runs and some of you are reporting stream issues. Hopefully there isn't too much lag. If there is, try refreshing your stream, try changing internet browsers, and if all else fails, sometimes even changing the quality option in the upwards direction, going up to 720p, going up to 720p plus can help. I know for some people 720p works better than 720p plus, so try fiddling with all that. If it all fails, let Twitch know in general. Now this time, of course, Gunrun's already looking into it, so you don't have to bother them, but for the moment, IG back to the game. They're farming the enemy jungle. They sort of clear out the creeps. They're denying LGD some desperately needed farm. And with these aggressive wards, they know they can do it unless there's a smoke gang coming their way, which they're apparently not worried about. Bottom tower going to go down to Zoe, who's now rushing a BKB, it looks like. Could be Assange, but probably going to be that BKB. Dust popped by Sylar defensively, Tornado and EMP, just to try and help him survive. And this is the one weakness of Sven, that low monopool. He's almost out. Ferrari is on the hunt. He's out for blood. He wants Sylar charging in. Is he actually at max move speed? I believe he is. Just incredibly difficult to get away from him. Ferrari so damn fast. The silence on the Sylar, and how far do they dive for this? They're still chasing. The Stormbolt is here. Sylar is dead off the bat. No, he's not. They thought they had the kill. They walk away a second from him dying, and he escapes. Meanwhile, a hero gets assassinated. In spite of that, Fate still finding the kill. Now a double for G-1, who has just been in every single kill pretty much this game. Even the Deafening Blast. The full skill set for Yao being unleashed. In spite of the fact that Chaos Knight lives, everything else still going rather poorly for LGD. And they're at this point, they're so far behind because of that track goal.
They're just stuck hiding in their bases. They're just, I don't know, there's very little for them to actually poke around with. All the mobility coming from IG with 4 staffs now being picked up. You mentioned Sven's mana problems. They've got the Arcane Boots up on the Lina now, and we're seeing absolute destruction. Faith finds himself a gem so he can just deward the map, prevent LGD from having any vision anywhere, and with that, it gets even more difficult. It becomes an even bigger challenge for LGD to know where it's safe to farm, when they can find the sort of the numbers advantage in those clashes, and IG are just going to use that to keep taking it to LGD. They don't seem like they even need to want to go back and often farm. They haven't got a single hero who really needs more items at this point. Joe's finished his BKB, and it's downhill from LGD from here unless they can find some superior positioning and just decision making.
Yeah, the mass BKBs is really going to be trouble, because the one thing that's really keeping them alive is this EMP Tornado, and without that, sure, you can roar one of these heroes, but you can't roar them out. Gem is picked up on Faith, just trying to continue the aggression, and having a hero like Night Stalker with his really good vision at nighttime, and it makes it easy to deward. He doesn't have the Aghanims, but still it's going to be a real boon to this team, and they're just going to plunge into the Roshan pit. Not too worried about LGD contesting this, and LGD, no ambitions of doing so. Shao 8 and the Lion, played by DDC, just trying to get some farm up top. So IG, after this Aegis, we've seen it from them before, guys. Once they get the Aegis, they don't waste any time. They just barrel down and start going for towers and kills.
Yeah, with the Aegis, it's not a matter of waiting and farming, waiting for the 6 minutes to expire. They're like, okay, Aegis only lasts 6 minutes, no problem. We'll just take it to LGD. That's what they've been doing all this game so far without the Aegis. A couple of times they find themselves maybe trading 1 for 1 or 2 for 2, but with this Aegis, it's going to be even more favorable for them. And this mid tower, look at this, just goes to show how aggressive they want to be. They don't even deny the mid tier 1 tower. They're like, let's just leave it here. We might want to TP here after we die. LGD aren't going to get it. Let's just leave it here. We can deny it a bit later on.
They don't even have the glyph for that as well.
Yeah, it's like, no, we don't want to give that 100 gold to each of the LGD heroes. Sure, it's less than the tower kill, but it's just a strategic mid-central point which they can TP to.
That's a single track kill anyway, so in terms of making up for that. Sylar trying to find an opening here. The problem is he's the only hero that can really stand for a long time in these fights, so he wants to go in first, but they have so much lockdown, he really can't afford to as well. And even for Chaos Knight, he's getting kited a bit in these fights. Like, even if he is the one that's chasing IG back, they have so much move speed and so much mobility that they can kind of just run away from Chaos Knight, which is something you don't often say, because he's so fast with that really high base move speed and normally going for the drums early. But even keeping up with the Chaos Knight is pretty easy for IG. They have no problems with that.
Yeah, it's not going to be any problem at all for IG. I mean, most of these heroes are getting near max movement speed in these team fights with the Warcry, the track movement speed, as well as the drums. And then on top of that, heroes like Lina, you've got the Fury Soul, which gives you movement speed. All these heroes just have natural boosts to their movement speed. Bounty Hunter with the Windwalk. Batrider, the only one who doesn't really have anything there. And it's just a scary amount of just all maxed out movement speed heroes practically every single fight. LGD, they've got to hold their ground and fight. They can't ever run and think to get away.
Can I just point out the creep stats this game for all the haters of Chinese Dota out there? Look at them. The high farmer of this game is Zoe, who's barely got 5 CS submitted. In fact, it's a bit less than that, which for Chinese Dota is, honestly, for a free farm hero, it's pretty abysmal by Chinese Dota standards. This is not a farming game. This is a game of constant aggression. Only 1 kill per minute, but it's simply because LGD aren't farming, and they're just sitting at their tier 2. They're sitting inside their base. They're roaming as 5 and not finding kills. LGD, IG farming a bit more, but even for a team that is the lead, they're not really trying to win by farming. They're trying to win by hero killing. And it's working so far.
I don't think they need to farm too much anymore. Zhou's going to go flying in onto Yao with a force out. Here comes the God Strength with a BKB. The kiting potential for LGD is there now. They've got the 4 stuff up. Raw just dropped to try and keep Yao alive. Everything on the back foot, and we've mentioned it time and time again. You can't really run from this team, but LGD are showing maybe you can. Chain stunning perfectly while on the run. Stun again, run, and it's just rinse, repeat. They seem to get out of there without any losses, and it's a BKB and a God Strength, but still IG are just going to keep on coming at you relentlessly.
It takes perfect play just to avoid giving up kills, though, and that's sort of a testament to the state of this game. When your perfect play only means that you don't die, when it doesn't mean that you get kills, that you gain an advantage, that's got to be a concern. DD Rune will be removed finally from Ferrari by that tornado. Sylar jumping in onto Ferrari, but remember Ferrari has the Aegis, probably not the one you want to initiate on. Batrider forcing everyone back, and it looks like IG just going to go to work on this tower. BKB is still on cooldown. Mask of Madness for Sven. So, I love this item in terms of the DPS potential. It's a very cost-efficient item. Now, the downside is, when your BKB's down, or if you get chain stun, this is going to make you die really quickly, but you can't do better than this, aside from maybe an armlet, just for maximizing your damage per gold ratio.
Yeah, very, very cost efficient for what it gives you. I mean, the lifesteal as well can help him out. And like you said, BKB's up, you can just lifesteal your way back to full HP pretty damn fast with the Mask of Madness, even with taking that bonus damage. And LGD just don't really have the firepower to take him down in the BKB form. Outside of it, yeah, you've got the nukes, you've got the chain stuns. I mean, all these LGD heroes do have disables, and that's the one thing that's keeping them alive. When they're on the run, they're just throwing the disables, kiting IG as much as possible, but it's not kiting them to get kills, it's just kiting them to survive. And what we're going to see is BKB up on YYF. He's now finished it, and a BKB coming very soon for the Night Stalker, if not already completed by the looks of things.
Ooh, track to start. Just trying to get some vision of Yao. I guess IG just wants to step this back a notch. They feel like maybe they need to get the BKB up on the Night Stalker, maybe they need to get that next level of items. And now they're denying their towers as well, so it's a sign that IG have at least got a little more passive for the moment. So on the top lane, started with the Mask of Madness, I think just to run, but it's going to mean his death. It will mean his demise. DDC with that super long new cooldown Finger of Death, but hey, it does a little extra damage. And that's the downside of the Mask of Madness. We see it here. If the BKB is not online, you're going to die. He was dead anyway, but dying extra quickly because he had used that Mask of Madness.
Yeah, LGD needed to keep finding these little pick-offs here. IG, they've sort of just taken it down a notch as far as aggression goes. I think they're realizing it's not as many openings coming their way. LGD having picked up the 4 staff on the Invoker and just sort of gathering themselves a bit, sticking together well enough that they're not giving up these kills. Now IG maybe just needs to sort of methodically take out these outer towers one by one, force some fights, not even force fights, but at least take the towers unless LGD want to go in and take the fight. Then IG use their farm and experience advantage to take those fights and win them. Chuan even building a BKB of his own. I mean, the items coming up for IG is just scary.
It is. Again, look at the score for Chuan. He's not involved in every single kill anymore, but 8, 1, and 10. 18 of the 20 kills. It's hard for Lina to keep up with her team, even if you wanted to get involved in every kill. Just the move speed is lacking on this hero. But when you have track, when you have all these drums, and then of course that Sven to give you some move speed as well with the war cry, then she can keep up. That's a big reason why Chuan's been able to stay in the middle of all these fights and find so many kills.
Yeah, it's LGD. They just can't keep giving up these kills, which it hasn't really happened in the last few minutes, but LGD, I mean, where do they go from here? It's really waiting for IG to make mistakes, to get too aggressive, which is, I mean, what's going to be happening, but it's just a matter of whether or not they can actually punish them for their aggression.
Faith just doing some dewarding, using that Firefly to give high ground vision, just to make sure that they have full vision as they knock down the tower, so they finally get the tier 2. I like how IG is just able to switch gears on a dime. They realized that their aggression wasn't going to work, and now we see them step it down a notch, but still making the smart decisions, not just turning ultra passive. They're farming the enemy jungle, they're clearing off the tier 2, they're dewarding while they're in the middle of that push, and now they push bottom. So they're stepping it back, but they're doing so in a very kind of controlled and intelligent fashion.
Yeah, they'll poke at this tier 2. I don't think they want to fully commit to this. They know Zhou just TP top. LGD know it as well, so LGD, if they go for the bottom lane push, may take the 5-on-4 fight. And even with these BKBs, they need Zhou to regroup with them before they can take this fight. So yeah, Zhou going to clear at the mid lane, regroup, and LGD. This could be a small opening to try strike, but IG have backed off far enough that they're not going to give away any kills. And they don't even need Zhou. They want to go in.
It's interesting because right as you said that, he started running towards mid. I think maybe they wanted to bait him mid, or he just wanted to be closer if the fight started to break out. But it's really smart, and I almost thought for a second maybe it's mind games. Maybe he's going to TP top and then just run straight down to bottom and hope LGD get caught out of position thinking they can take a fight bottom. Either way, Zoe knowing that this is a time where LGD could find an opening and kind of closing that door. On paper it seems like a small play, but significant. Now they get the tier 2 safely, and LGD forced to back off.
IG, I mean, they've taken out two of those, two last outer towers. There's one left at the top lane, and with that, I mean, like you mentioned, they can just keep backing off, take towers one by one, get their next level of items. It's going to be Roshan respawning as well in a couple of minutes, so that's probably what they're kind of waiting for before they go for the uphill push, which is not going to be the easiest thing in the world, up against the amount of disable, up against the Tornado EMP that's going to be dropping down from the Invoker from Yao, who once again has only gone for the 5 points in Wex before switching to Exort. It seems to be the magic number. It seems to be how many you need to have enough mana drain coming out from the EMP and the range on the Tornado.
And they have so many BKBs now, as well as I believe at least 1 or 2 sets of Arcane Boots. Yeah, Chuan has a pair, so the EMP really loses effectiveness at this point in the game. And if he had leveled it up to max, sure, his move speed is great, but he's not running away. Nobody's running from IG if they get caught. If they're forced to run, they're dead. So it wouldn't help him in that respect either. And like you said, I think it's a smart adjustment all across the board. They're gonna need his damage coming out from the Meteor, as well as even maybe just a buffed Alacrity to help them deal with this team, this IG squad in the late game. It's a small change to the build, but it's a really smart one. Will it be enough, though? I'm not so sure. I looked at support items real quickly. Chuan, Ogre Club, Force Staff for him, getting close to a BKB of his own. In fact, he's got it now. Oh no, it's Yao who gets caught by the Batrider lasso. Onto Zoe, or Zoe onto Yao, I should say, but he's gonna get away. Maybe no, there's a gem on Faith. Still the gem up, and Lacuna Blade from Chuan. A little bit of KSing almost, but does secure that kill for sure. Blinking forward is Faith, pushing back Xiao 8. Not going to dive into the base against this many stuns, but they get the kill. Now they get the tier 2. Roshan about to respawn in a minute or so, even less than that, and I think it's perfect map. Look at all the lanes. It's only mid lane that's pushing out.
Yeah, kill tower, back off for Roshan. This is very precise. BKB up on Lina as well. Chuan is just having a fantastic game on that support role.
This is when you're support Chuan, Lina has a BKB. That is exceptional farm. And again, a lot of it's track gold, but it's just the raw number of kills doesn't hurt. He's the high killer in this game, and he's not bad as far as the assists go. So looking good for Chuan. I like this, and I wonder who doesn't have a BKB. That's the question now. Batrider's building one. They're gonna have 5 BKBs. The only hero who doesn't is the Batrider. And yeah, who do you roar at that point? I mean, do you get a refresher orb? Oh jeez.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to have the Tornado EMP landing before there's an engagement, because in those engagements there's going to be BKBs up. You have to just be throwing it as early as possible, get their mana down, chip away at IG, so that when they go in with those BKBs, you at least have something. You've chipped away at them, they've got slight little mana. The problem is, look at this, Zhou's going for a Crystallis, he's going to have a Daedalus soon. I feel like I'm watching Sing Sing's pub stream where he goes, Masked Man is Daedalus, although there is a BKB up there. I don't know what Zhou's doing with a BKB. I don't hear that. I hear that item isn't very good, according to Sing Sing. But
not manly enough, I think is the other criticism.
Not manly enough is the correct word. He's not a bear slayer.
Well, he may be an LGD slayer, and I think that's good enough for him if that's the case. He went for the Blink Dagger, which, you know, that's sort of the one thing IG is lacking right now, is that just instant jump in and start the fight, aside from Faith. But this gives them 2 heroes, so yeah, your EMP Tornado hits, I'm going to BKB, and then we're going to double Blink in onto your fountain, basically, and find you there anyway. So I don't mind this item, but it's odd to see. I thought maybe just go for the raw DPS.
Yeah, raw DPS at this point, now that he's got the BKB, the Blink Dagger, like you say, having the second form of initiation is so important. I mean, the Batrider alone maybe gets in there, but if he gets stunned up, he hasn't got a 4-star bat, he hasn't got a BKB of his own, so it's very dangerous to go blinking and lasso someone. If LGD are quick to react, maybe they punish Faith for it. So Sven, a much more reliable initiation with the Blink and the BKB.
There's the Tornado already used, and this might be the moment when IG jumps in after that EMP Tornado. with this next creep wave coming. Batriders in the front lines. It is when they jump in. Counter initiation is gone out the window. DD dead to start. Now that Mask of Madness Fan charging onto Xiaowei, who could be force-staffed away. He will be force-staffed away, but it's not going to be enough for the moment. They used every single BKB though. Now Chaos Knight turning this around, focusing on Zoe, deafening blast, so he cannot do the lifesteal. He can't survive easily. Chuan being ignored. Chuan doing insane damage, and it's gonna pick up at least one kill. Sylar, everyone dropping so low. IG, superior items, superior numbers, and superior levels of BKB. 4 BKBs too many, I say, and I think LGD a little bit out of gas at this point. They haven't gotten the tower yet, but another convincing win and a couple of track kills for them.
Yeah, it's a scenario where LGD, they take the fight, they're protecting their town somewhat, but they're losing too many heroes. It's just one more little step that IG are climbing. Step by step, they're getting closer and closer to sealing the deal. Sure, they only get this town down to half HP, but winning a fight on that level is just going to slow down any hope of LGD picking up more items in the near future. I mean, they've got the BKB on Chaos Knight, Invoker trying to build up a sheepstick, but losing 4 heroes, I mean, that's a 4 for 1 team fight, which isn't going to help in the long run. And IG, sure, they don't get a tower, but they've got plenty of time. They get more gold, they get more items here, and we're going to see them just come at LGD again and again and again.
And Chuan's getting to level 16 soon, and that's the point where he has the less than a 1 minute cooldown Laguna Blade, which is hitting for 950 damage. Let's do a quick HP check. DDC 1100 HP, so that's like 2/3 of his health off the bat. For Sylar, it's a little bit less than half. Xiao8 has gone for the quad bracer power treads build. It's the right build. You just need raw HP, but at the same time, even with this number of bracers, he's still probably going to die in a couple of auto attacks. Not only from the Laguna Blade, but just from the right clicking of the Night Stalker and the Sven.
It does show. I love just seeing this kind of build coming out from Xiaowei, even though LGD are in such a bad position, because this is the right build. This is the most cost-effective build. This is the build you do when you're behind. You don't keep saving up for the Bloodstone. You need HP now, and you just need cost-effective HP. So I like what he's done. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be enough here. He's still too squishy. He's going to maybe start building a BKB. He can take apart one of those braces now, but it's going to be constant aggression, and any hope of getting a big item up is just going to be probably destroyed every time IG come at them again with a team fight.
Well, they have 5 BKBs now. I think it's time for Beastmaster to start building his refresher, because my lord, he's gonna need it.
Yeah, maybe go 5 Abyssal Blades or something, LGD, I don't know, but
if they can somehow pay off Ice Frog and get 5 Abyssal Blades, then they have a great shot at pulling this one back. I gotta point out, the score was, what was it, 20-5, and now it's 25-7. IG are just they're not giving up any of their lead, even though they're not ending the game yet. They're still out farming LGD. They've shown that they can play that kind of starvation Dota, where you just slowly siege out your opponents and out farm them and win that way too. So they start with the aggression, but here comes the big team by Blink in from Batrider and the BKB, not able to get the lasso off. That's okay. They're gonna mow through these towers. A mini tiny going to work. That's Zoe cleaving, chopping his way through, but now the Deafening Blast gonna slow it down. It should go down here. The question is, the Stormbolt dodged by Sylar's BKB. Great little play there. Now Faith is gonna run out of Firefly, but Sylar runs in, and the 3 melee heroes all converging on him, all doing damage. Chuan, again, doing some crazy work with that Laguna Blade. Now on to DD, next in line. Stormbolt to connect on Sylar. Instant buyback from Leshrac. Barely even a chance to hear it. Well, I mean, I don't even know what the analogy is. Not even piranhas. It's something much worse than that. Maybe those, like, fire ants or something, but IG just absolutely swarming LGD. It's perfect. Just amazing to watch this team and the level of coordination they have. And with that, LGD, sadly, they're going to have to tap out. Can't say I blame them, though.
I dare to say this. IG look better than they did at TI2. This is... I don't know if any team can come close to beating IG if they play like this every game. They just completely destroyed LGD. Sure, LGD, they played yesterday and they made some mistakes, but LGD didn't play that poorly here. LGD, for the most part, went for their stable picks, made some decent... I mean, they didn't make too many terrible decisions. They played quite passively, but that's kind of their style of play. But IG have just sort of discovered this style of play which destroys teams who play too passive, and this is scary to watch because IG are kind of... I don't know. Who's going to beat them? Who can actually take down IG?
Some would say Navi, although we've seen how that turns out. Navi did take them down in the winter bracket finals at TI2, but Navi was not played with this level of form, at least not in Star Ladder. So we'll see. We'll see, but for the moment, IG take the series 2-0 and do so in terrifying fashion. Just absolutely disgusting. Chuan, the high fragger for this one, 11-1-17. Barely any farming going on, aside from Zoe, who did work his way towards 200 creeps. GoDz, this is our first series of the day. It is a day of all Chinese Dota, though. We have DK face off against Tongfu earlier. I would say the two sort of lesser Chinese teams, at least right now. DK split 1-1 with Orange in their first series for the G1 League. This is their second group stage match, and an important one. They should be the favorites against Tongfu, who have not looked strong at all since their roster changes, adding Long DD, adding Chan, and getting rid of the support players Kabu and Awoke. But as these two teams gel, these are two teams that we're going to be looking to see if they can find their stride. But that does wrap it up for LGD and IG. Guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm LD. He's GoDz. We're David and David, and we'll be coming back to you. And is it really 2.5 hours? I think it is. 2.5 hours time. We'll be back with LGD, with DK, DK versus Tongfu. So stay tuned for that. Thanks all for watching.